welcome to the good news. I'm so excited and delighted that you have tuned into the very latest and freshest episode of the good news.
Well, Doc, I'd like to start this episode of the good news talking about some of the events in the news this week.
Well, I'm sure first and foremost is falling back. We gained an hour because we fell back this weekend. And I was just so pumped and excited this morning. Having an extra hour of sleep, I was an hour ahead of myself in worship hype, I guess. What else happened this week?
That's not how any of this works.
Oh.
No, I wanted to talk about elections and how much I abhor this time of year and the election commercials. There's got to be a better way to include us in the democratic process rather than giving us ads and campaigns that just assume that we are idiots.
The dumbed down effect of
OMG.
our society.
Yes. So I want to encourage each and every one of our Good News viewers to vote responsibly. Do your research, go to here it's our Secretary of State, and go and pull a sample ballot so that you understand the wording of the question before you're in the voting booth. That's the wrong time to be making decisions. Decisions should be made before you get to your polling place. The polling place is just where you commit the act.
You know, my issue this year, and I'm not sure how long it's been going on, but I just noticed it this year, is the hidden endorsers.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be a time that you get a message and it would say, paid for by the support of whoever the candidate was.
Yeah.
Now they hide behind acronyms and different things, make you research who they are and find out that's who I thought they were. They were who I thought they were, but they don't want you to know because they know that we're too dumb to research and find out, oh, they're just the same old people. They just don't want to tell you who they are now.
I mean, the individuals that we elect are going to be making laws and passing bills that are going to affect us for a very long time. And we have an opportunity to be a part of that process, and we need to take it to its fullest. We need to go and pick up somebody you know that doesn't have a ride and take them with you to the polling place. Do whatever you have to do to make a difference in your individual communities. That's where it all starts. It starts with us.
It starts with us. I remember my first experience with elections started in school. You know, when you're running for class president and class leaders and stuff, and it seemed like it was always the person who parent could afford the most posters and markers and the popular person. It seemed like we started the process early, learning if you're popular and got money, chances are you're going to win.
Political science 101.
It's not about how bright you are or your agenda and anything.
Not at all.
Popularity and finances.
That's it. And good hair.
And good hair. If you look good. And if you look good and you're dumb, you pick somebody who's smart to be your running mate. And, you know, it's just amazing the process that we learn at an early age about electing and how to get voted upon.
I think one of the things that has been brought to me this election is that our youth who have said, well, it's not going to change. We can't make a difference, so we're not going to register. We're not going to vote. And I don't know how to combat that when you see the challenges, even though once we've made this election and done our due diligence and studied. And so what do we say to them to encourage them to become a part of this process? It's broken, but it's the process we have.
Well, my thing is, maybe they'll be the generation to change the process through not being a part of it. One of my favorite movies is Distinguished Gentleman. And it talks about when you're voting for whatever the issue is. Well, you're against it, I got somebody for you. If you're for it, I got somebody for you. So the same thing with the election. I think you get the same results no matter if it's one party or another. The game is still the same, you just have different players. So why vote for that? But we've been taught to vote, so we continue to do that. And I'm a proponent of voting because of what our forefathers and foremothers had to go through for us to be able to vote. But even now with the voting early, you already know my issue on voting early. I'm voting when the masses are voting, so my vote won't get misplaced and displaced by haphazardly, purposefully those who are able to do so.
Should I be concerned at how often Conspiracy Brother is showing up on?
It's good news. You didn't know that there are people who
Yeah.
understand that we just want to be bamboozled and, you know, prove it to us. You know, it's not conspiracy, it's
That's it.
doubtful, brother.
Amen. Well, I do want to go into your message from today.
Okay.
Now that's good news.
That's good
Good
news.
news.
Good
Okay.
news.
Okay.
I know better good news.
So your sermon came from 1 Corinthians, the second chapter, 9 through 16. And it starts off with eyes haven't seen or ears have heard.
I say, you know, that's one of those texts, and I know I say this often. I could preach that one. You know, I don't need stuff to preach that text, because when you just think about being able to see what you can't see and hear what you can't hear, and then know it happens in a way, it's like, wow, that's impossible. So that's dreaming impossibly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just love that particular text, but I think what I used it for this time talked about continuing the process of God being first, and I picked up from last couple of weeks I was talking about relationship and position. And I did relationship exclusively last week, so this week I did positioning exclusively. And I think it's just really important because position is one of the words I use synonymously with levels. You know, it's like different stages and going from one place to another. And we can remember getting to different positions, but we don't always remember how we got there. And how is it we did what we did to get there. And I think that's one of those things. I used Chuck as a reference, who was my CPE director when I was doing my first unit CPE. And he won't ask people, why did you do a certain thing? He always asks, how is it that you were able to do that? You know, explain to me the steps you took in able to reach that decision and do what you did. And that requires
It
that we have
gives
to think.
you a different answer. It does.
It requires
Every
that we have
time.
to think. And it's like, wow, thinking make your head hurt. You know, we don't really want to think. We like ready-made, easy answers.
Yes.
So, you know.
Good. Fine.
I said, so why did you do that? I don't know. And everybody do their response. I don't know.
You know, one of the points you made was the distinction between growth and swelling. And so just define, because I've been looking at the anti-inflammatory diet that says that, okay, these things create a response in your body that makes your body swell. So it's not, no, you really didn't gain 12 pounds from eating that Chinese food. There was the MSG in it that, that made you have an inflammatory response. And so you talked about that growth is natural and healthy, and swelling is unnatural. And so we have a lot of people that are not growing in Christ, but swelling, being puffed up, taking on those things that they like to hear, and deleting or glossing over those things that they care not to hear. We want to hear. We want to hear the prosperity. We don't want to hear the things that God requires of us for the promise.
You know, you think about when you growing, first as an infant, you start off with milk. You know, most of us adults who have grown don't like milk anymore. Then as a child, that's what we force on them. And the baby, they'll throw the bottles. You know, you think about what babies do to milk for the most part. You know, they eventually drink it because they know that's what they have to have. But I think about how when we be in the gym and guys being there, oh, that's swole, look at him, you know, and we use it as a positive, but really it's not a positive.
It's not.
You know, he didn't grow, he took some stuff to get like that. Because the first thing we ask when we see somebody who used to be small and real big, what you doing, man? You got them rods, you know, we just don't believe people go through the natural process to grow. You know?
And that points back to your saying that growth is natural, and we don't see anything in nature that happens overnight. It takes a process and it takes time. Swelling, however, if I run my toe into a wall, it's going to swell right away. But that's not, it's not going to stay that size. I didn't grow a bigger toe.
And you know, I just think about all the different things we have on the market that enhances, that grows, and it's not really growing. It's not, you know. And men, we get sucked into stuff like that. You know, almost every spam email, to most men, email is about growth enhancement, and it's not natural, and it's not growing, and really they can't grow you anyway. So you
enticing.
It's enticing. And the same thing happens with messages in the church. You know, you want to be blessed and highly favored and name it and claim it, grab it, you can have it and all this stuff. We be telling these people in the church. And we don't tell them that there's a process you have to go through. You know, yeah, you tithe and you expect God to give you a blessing, but you got to also learn how to rechange your financial path. You know, and
really just appreciate the depth that we're going into your messages now with the series, and just continuing in that same, because it takes us a minute sometime to get it. We get caught up the first time on the rhyming words. Like we watched Deion Sanders' new show on OWN last night, and it was like every phrase he said rhymed. So we get caught up in that the first time we hear a message. So I think it really helps to spread it out and open it up for us and make sure that we're receiving it exactly the way God delivered it to you.
And you know, it's a part of my process also. You know, I think about the process I've gone through as a pastor and a preacher. You know, when I first started, there was some great dynamic preachers, and I didn't feel like I was equipped enough, so I wanted to imitate them. And found out that I couldn't do them. You know, and I found out, well, let me try to imitate somebody else that hadn't nobody heard about. Then I found out I couldn't do them either. You know.
Do you, boo?
Yeah. Eventually, you have to realize that in order to grow, you got to go through a process of knowing who you are and eat the food that's going to help you to get to where you are. It wasn't an easy process, one that felt good, but now I'm at a point and place where I have to understand if it ain't natural, it ain't right. So
we're going to transition into just a little itsy bitsy teeny weeny bit of football. Itsy bitsy teeny weeny bit.
Okay.
So Georgia.
Georgia didn't reach their full potential yesterday.
Yes.
They probably got caught with their eyes ahead on the future game in the schedule.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you look ahead of your opponent, a lot of times your opponent is able to sneak up on you and take the victory away from you. So,
well, if it's
that's
any consolation,
that's all I cry.
If it's any consolation, the Falcons won't lose today.
I guarantee there will not be a loss for the Falcons today. I guarantee. You know, that's one thing I can say about the Atlanta Falcons. There's an opponent that has never had opportunity to beat us, and that's bad. We beat bad every time we play.
Well, thank God for fantasy.
Yes, and you know, and Georgia taught me a very important lesson in my fantasy league this week. I'm playing an opponent, and I know it's easy to look ahead to a more formidable, a tougher opponent, but I've learned to take each opponent one game at a time. So the opponent I'm playing today, I'm not looking ahead to the next game. I'm going to play this opponent just like this opponent is a Super Bowl matchup. So I plan on giving it my all and, you know, playing to the last whistle blow and giving 120% and beating an ant with a sledgehammer. You know, I say we don't let up. When we play hard until the whistle stops.
I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us for another episode of The Good News. We'd love to see you in person at 5387 Fairburn Road, Douglasville, Georgia 30135. See, I know it all by myself now. So, also, check out our new website for the church at c4cchurch.com and continue to subscribe and comment here on The Good News.
So until the next time,
good day and good night.